Hi everybody, welcome back. Today I wanted to share a trick that I learned recently, and I was just exploring and I had a square image and I thought, is there some way I can use code to make this into a circular image? And I hinted at this during the video I made last week, but we covered a different thing last week. We were talking about parallax. But on the screen here, I have this perfectly cropped square image, and using code I'm able to make this circle image. And so I have a little border. One of the applications that I can find for that, I mocked up a page just for fun. So I made this into something of a profile picture for Meet Dr. Sean Newfer. So I thought, that's an interesting thing. On the other part of this page, I have this parallax effect, and if you're interested in learning how I did that, then you can refer to the video I did last week. It was a really interesting process, and I think it's a really fun interaction. But today we're going to focus on making a circle image from a regular square image. And so let's get into it. So creating this effect is actually very simple from a code standpoint, and so I'm going to share the code with you and walk through the various components. And I'm going to flip over to this other screen so that we can look at these various components. And so I have the image. I uploaded the image into my Canvas course, but before I actually have the image on the course, I need to create a container for it. And so what we're looking at with this code over here, I'm going to bump this up, in fact, I have a div, and that is my container. That's this circle that I have. And so first I put a width of 100%, and you can either write that as a percentage of the screen or just in pixels. Say I want a 300 pixel wide interaction. The reason why this isn't taking up 100% of the screen unless I get really small is that I also put a max width of 400 pixels, meaning I want this to be 100% of the screen, whatever that screen size is, until it gets to 400 pixels, and then I don't want it to be any larger than 400 pixels. For the margin, I put no margin on the top and the bottom, but I put auto on the sides, and then you can see as I stretch this screen out larger, then my picture stays centered, and that's what that margin is doing. The auto is making sure that whatever margin is on the left should be on the right, and that's another way of saying they need to be equal and this needs to be centered. Now if I were to change some of the properties here, suppose I move this to 600 pixels and then it renders, and then you can see it'll get small. If I have a small screen, it'll stay 100% until I get to 600 pixels. And so that's what we're seeing there. The border radius is 50%, and that means that it's a circle. If it was 0%, then this would simply be a square. And so if I put border radius 0, that would be a square that is 100% as wide as the screen up until 400 pixels. So it's a 400 by 400 pixel square. If I were to put a little border radius, like maybe 20%, then it's a square with rounded corners. But since I'm looking for a circle, I want to make sure that that is 50%. And that gives me a perfectly round circle. Overflow hidden is important. That's really the magic of the code. Last week in the parallax effect, we had some magic code. You can look at that video to see what that is. This week, the magic is overflow hidden. If I were to remove that, I'm just going to misspell the word hidden and run that so that you can see what effect that code has. And so I still have my container, and it has a border radius, but then you can see the image, it goes outside of the container. And so when I put hidden, anything that overflows outside of my container gets cropped out, and that's exactly what I want for this effect. The background color, that's just as it's rendering. Then if the image were broken or something, then it would render a color. I wouldn't suggest putting it black. This would be black, but just for the example of these videos that I'm creating, I'm putting it as black, but that could be something gradient, or it could be nothing if you want. And then the border would be 6 pixels. This is short form, and so instead of saying border width specifying each of these individual, I just put them all in the same line. And so 6 pixels is how thick the border is. Solid means that it's a solid line, and then the color would be, I just sampled some color from the figurine's hair, and so that golden color would be the border. Now all of this is just the container. It's not the picture at all. If I were to, suppose I misspell this and I don't have a picture, then it's all gone anyway. Now we get to the actual picture part, and this is simple. So you'll put an image in there, you're going to style it up a little bit, you're going to put display block, and display block is telling it that this is an image and we want it to conform to the container that we're putting it in, which is the div. And so it's saying just act well. Width would be 100%. I want it to fill up the entire container. If I were to put width of 50%, then I would have 100% over here, 50% over there, and then it would just fill it up halfway. And that's not what we want. We want it to be 100%. And then the height is auto, and so that's just, centered in there. You probably don't need that. That's essentially saying however wide it is, we want to respect that ratio, the ratio of the image, and so adjust the height accordingly. I think you probably don't need that code because Canvas and the browser probably suspect that anyway, but it just ensures that the image wouldn't get squished if it's not a perfect square. And then the source is just wherever you got that image. And so go on to the Canvas course, upload your image, grab the file, the source of the image, and then you can put it into this code. Alt text is always a good thing for accessibility. This could be decorative. I just made up a little bit of alt text, and that is the extent of this code that we have, that we were able to turn a square image into a circle. And again, the application would be something simple like this. I have a profile picture here that I just wanted to have something a little more decorative. Now we started out with a perfect square. What if the image isn't perfectly square? What do we do there? Using the same code that we just went through, in this case, the only thing that would change would be the file, would be a different file. And what we're looking at here is something that's maybe 300 pixels wide by 450 pixels tall. It's a rectangle, and so if you were to apply this code to the rectangle, it would create an oval. And that could be fine too. If that's good for your page and good for your content, then you can keep that. I also rendered, I went to AI and filled in the background, generative background, and made a rectangle that's more wide than tall. Put the same code, and then this is what we got. Now this is good because the character, the main focal point, is centered. That's what I'm going for, really. If I were to hop down here and take this rectangle, which is more tall than it is wide, then I can still make that into a circle. And so we'll look at that. I put the code in. This is the exact code that I rendered here. This one's centered around the face. This one's centered around what the person is holding. So it depends on what the focal point is in your image. And so let's walk through this. First, I can create my container, and so that would be this div right here. In this case, for the style, the CSS, I specified a particular pixel width and pixel height, 300 by 300. And so I'm saying this is a 1:1 ratio, which would be a circle or a perfect square. You can ignore the margin because that's just me saying for this video I want a little space above and below, and let's center it. The border radius, you'll recognize that 50%, and that gives us the perfect circle right here, as opposed to if there were no border radius, then this would be a perfect square. Overflow hidden is our magical ingredient, and that's what crops our image, and so it doesn't spill outside of our container right there. And then we just have the background and the border, as you already know. And then the image, so the image I have the display block, and that's important again. I put width 100%, so I want it to be all of the width of the container, and the height is also set to auto, and so I want it to not squish it into the container because it's taller than it is wide, and I don't want it to try and squish that height. I'm not interested in that. But I am interested in the focal point being the bottom part of the rectangle, so the camera, the ukulele, the shoes, and so that's where I put this margin. Instead of margin adding space at the top, I'm actually taking away space. And so I put a margin of negative 150 pixels. So the top of the image would be somewhere around here, and I'm essentially saying I want the margin to be negative, so we're going to, instead of creating space at the top, we're going to fill in that space, and we're going to drag the image up. And I just guesstimated because I figured this original image is probably, if it was 300 pixels, that looks like it would be 450 pixels tall. And so that way I can just drag it up 150 pixels, and so the bottom of the image would be the bottom of the circle. I just kind of guesstimated, and it looks like I got it right on the first try, and so I wish I was that lucky in life in all aspects. The rest of this is the same. I have the source of the picture, I have some alt text. Canvas automatically fills in some of this other data right there. This is the exact same code down here. The only difference is the margin top. I put 0, which I don't need. If I have a margin of 0, I don't need to say that. I could just leave that blank, but I wanted to emphasize the difference between having a margin of -150 and a margin of 0. And so this essentially makes it so that the top of the image over here aligns with the top of my container. And for this image, that works well because that is the face, and I think that's a great thing to focus on. And so that's one way that you can, in a couple ways that you can take something that's rectangular and still make it into a circle. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I thought this was fun. This was a fun thing to explore and tinker around with, and I'm going to find application in my classrooms for this in the courses that I'm teaching. It's going to be here and there. It's not something I'm going to use on every page necessarily, but it's a handy tool to have at your disposal. And so I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for sticking with me. And until next time.
Happy teaching and learning.